Hey, I want to take a little time today to try and answer a question in the least confusing way possible that was asked of me by a viewer last night in the live chat. Now, I say I want to answer it in the least confusing way possible because it's kind of a difficult question. It's kind of a very nuanced question that you have to take a lot of things into consideration to answer. It might sound simple, but it's not. The question was, who do I think will be better for the gun community over the next 4 years as president? Trump or Biden? Now, that might sound simple. You're like, oh, Republican or Democrat, which one? It's not that simple. Now, first off, before I answer the question, I want to tell everyone where I'm coming from. I am an independent. I was Republican from like the end of high school on up until the Bush-Cheney administration, where I switched to independent because when I tried to go to a Bush-Cheney rally, they asked me to sign a fealty pledge, and I was like, fuck that. I ain't signing a fealty pledge to any politician, and anyone that would ask me to doesn't deserve my support. So I became an independent. So I'm voting for Joe Jorgensen. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're throwing your vote away. This is where they do that shit. That just exposes their own ignorance because they don't understand the electoral college process. I live in a state that's going for Biden. No matter what, he's getting our electoral votes. Even if I voted 50 times, he'd still get all of our electoral votes. So if I voted for Trump, that would be throwing my vote away because popular vote means nothing. So instead of throwing my vote away, I'm using it to try to build a third party. And I would encourage anyone else in similar situations to do the same, especially if you're someone who's only voting for Biden because you hate Trump, but you don't like Biden either. Don't vote for somebody you don't like. Vote third party. Build a third party. Send a message to both the jackasses you don't like. Especially if you live in a state that's going to go Trump, even if you are a hardcore Biden supporter. If you live in a state like Arkansas and you're like, no matter what I do, it's going Trump. He's getting our electoral votes. Well, don't throw your vote away on Biden. Help build a third party. Vote for Joe Jorgensen. Just makes sense. Popular vote means nothing. Pay attention to the electoral map and vote the best way you can vote. Sometimes voting for one of the big two is throwing your vote away, and voting third party is the right thing to do. That being said, that's completely off-topic rant there. I want to move on to the question again. Who would be better for the gun community over the next 4 years, Trump or Biden? Well, it's not that simple because I don't think Trump is pro-gun. I don't think that's a secret to most people. I think most people know that. Those that haven't put blinders on for this administration know he hasn't been a friend of guns. The things he's said and done, the things his ATF have said and done, and they are under the executive branch, they're under the DOJ, so whatever they do, he's in charge of, so it is his responsibility. So all that stuff that's happening, that's Trump. So he's not particularly pro-gun. Although I don't think he's going to make any overt anti-gun moves on his own, because I think he just waits for what other people tell him is popular, and then he goes that way. As far as Biden goes, I don't know that Biden's that anti-gun. I know he's not pro-gun. Mr. Shoot him in the leg with a shotgun. Oh, and by the way, during the live chat last night, we determined that a .454 Casull revolver's muzzle velocity is very similar to the muzzle velocity of a 12-gauge slug out of a shotgun. So if you ever need to shoot someone, like you want to take your carry gun into account, carry a .454 Casull revolver, and that way if you want to shoot them in the leg like Joe Biden says, do it with the .454. That's very similar to a shotgun, but you can actually carry it with you. We'll see, the more you know. But that being said, let's move on to the question again. Like I said, I don't think Biden is particularly anti-gun, but he's definitely not pro-gun, and I don't think he's that motivated to be anti-gun or go after any anti-gun stuff. And in fact, I think the only thing Joe Biden's motivated to do is try to take one, small hard poop once a week. And that's about it. Go poopsies, and he's happy. But also, I think Joe Biden could also be a benefit to the gun community in ways that a lot of people don't think about, in that he would wake up the fucking lazy asses in the gun community who over the last 3.5 years have went, oh, I don't need to do anything now. I can just sit back because we got a Republican president. I can justify my laziness. That's bullshit. You should be involved. And maybe it would wake up the people who have been doing the, la, 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 I don't see anything. Everything's fine. We got a Republican president. That doesn't matter that they took away bump stocks or that they want to get rid of braces or that he said take away their guns first and give them due process later. None of that matters because he's Republican. Those people might fucking wake up. If Biden became president, we'd have a more vocal, active Second Amendment community now, instead of just the far right wingers that have driven this party, this group of people, the pro-gun community, so far right that most people don't give a shit about us anymore. That being said, like I say, he might motivate them. But here's the thing. If it was President Trump or President Biden, or President Trump or President Biden, I've been doing the opposite sides here. I really don't think gun rights are at that much of a risk, period, if it's just the presidency that changes. Because no matter what, if Amy Coney Barrett gets on Supreme Court, I think she's going to be pro-gun. So any anti-gun laws that get passed are going to get struck down Supreme Court. And even if Biden's president, I don't think he would pack the Supreme Court. He especially wouldn't if the Senate was still Republican. He would never have a chance. So we'd be safe with Biden or Trump as president. But to answer the question finally, what I'm going to have to say is, who would be better for the Second Amendment over the next 4 years? It has to be Trump. Period. It's Trump. And why is it Trump? Well, because all those things I said about Joe Biden are true if we were actually just getting Joe Biden. But we're not. I think we're getting Joe Biden and President Kamala Harris. Because I think Joe Biden, even if he makes it through a first term, he's not going to run for a second, so we'll end up with Kamala Harris then. And if he doesn't make it through a first term, he's going to quit and Kamala Harris is going to become president. And even if he makes it through, I think she's still going to be president, just like Cheney was. So we're not dealing with Biden. We're dealing with Kamala Harris and what will happen under a Kamala Harris administration. And I think that would be very anti-gun. And another thing is, not only is Kamala Harris very anti-gun, if the demographics of the vote go in a way that Joe Biden gets elected, more Democrats show up, the Democrats are more motivated, and the Biden-Harris ticket wins, a lot of people just tend to vote straight party. So not only will we have Biden and Kamala as president, but we'll probably also end up with a Democratic Senate, as well as a Democratic House. And if that's the case with Kamala Harris running the show, we're going to see Supreme Court stacking, and then we're going to see anti-gun laws. And we're going to see them get through the Supreme Court because of who they stack the court with. So I think Kamala Harris is very dangerous because she will do things I think Joe Biden wouldn't do. And plus, like I said, if the people show up to elect them, it's going to be straight ticket Democrat. And I think we're going to lose the Senate. I always like the president to be one thing and the Senate to be the other. I don't like it when they're the same thing. But that's a different topic. So I think Trump is just going to be better for us than Biden, simply because of Kamala Harris. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me because there's other issues to take into account. What about things like health care and gay rights and Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff? You know, abortions. People are throwing a fit about abortion. Oh my God, if Trump wins, abortion's going to go away. One, I don't think that's true. I don't think it is. And if it does, it's probably just going to be on a state level. And then if your state doesn't want abortion, then your state doesn't have abortion. Some states will. Here's a little secret for a lot of you out there to make abortion not be an issue. Don't have unprotected sex. Don't get pregnant if you're not ready to have children. It's not that hard. I've never gotten pregnant. So, I mean, if I can manage it, hopefully you could too. And by when I say pregnant, I've never had a child out of wedlock or anything like that. And I think it'd be easy for you. And I've never gotten pregnant also, just for the record. These stretch marks aren't from pregnancy. They're from just getting old and fat. But like I say, I don't believe abortion's going away. I definitely don't believe, if Trump wins another term and blah, 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 gay marriage is going away. That's fucking scare tactic bullshit. I don't like when our side uses scare tactics to demonize people and scare people and confirm their biases and support their bigotry, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that shit. I don't like it when we do, when we have it done on the other side either. When we have it done to us by the left, I don't like it any more than when the right does it to the other side. You know what I mean. So I don't like that shit. It's all scare tactics. LGBTQ rights aren't going anywhere. Even when you poll hardcore Trump supporters these days, the majority, a solid majority of them are pro-LGBTQ, ABC, ATM, BAR, whatever. I don't want to exclude anybody. They're very pro that. They're not all a bunch of bigots. And they're also not racist. So I don't think, black rights are going to be set back decades, or blah, blah, blah. No, because most of them aren't racist either. So the politicians see that. They see, these people are mostly pro anti-racism and pro LGBTQ. So they're not going to be passing laws like that. Like Amy Coney Barrett says, if you think I'm going to abolish gay marriage, well, you all would first have to pass a law that says that, and then I'd have to rule on it. Are you planning on passing a law that says that? I don't think they are. It's all fucking scare tactics. I'm not worried about that. Like I said, abortion's not my issue. Not ever having an abortion. Not again, anyway. And healthcare is another thing. The LGBTQ thing and the race thing, I just don't think that's likely at all. I don't think it's an issue. Now, the healthcare thing, yeah, if Trump administration stays in, the Republicans stay in, you might lose your healthcare if you're on Obamacare. Maybe they'll give you an alternative. Maybe it'll be better. I don't know. Maybe it'll be worse. But that's something you deal with. I have insurance. So when I make my decision, you can't blame me. You can't say, well, you didn't take healthcare into account. Yeah, I did. I have healthcare. So healthcare is not my issue. I'm not belittling it for you. I'm just saying it's not my issue when I made my decision that Trump would be better for the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment community. I wish everyone had healthcare. That's my own personal opinion, but it's not up to me to provide it to you. You know, everyone's got to get together and do their own thing. So I'm not worried about abortion. I'm not worried about health care. I am so confident that racism and gay bigotry and stuff like that is not going to be an issue with either parties. So I simply have to vote on what I think is best for the gun community. And like I said, if Trump wins, that means enough Trump people showed up that will probably keep the Senate. Supreme Court will stay like it is. It'll be pro-gun. We won't get any anti-gun laws passed even. So we won't have to worry about it. If Biden gets elected, my problem isn't with Biden. My problem is with Kamala Harris and the fact that if enough people show up to elect them, we'll also end up with a Democratic Senate. And if we end up with Kamala Harris, a Democratic Senate, and then a stacked Supreme Court, that will be bad for the Second Amendment community. That'll be bad for the country as a whole. So that's why I have to say, whether people like it or not, or whether I like it or not, just based on the facts, I have to say, when it comes down to who is better for the Second Amendment, when it comes to the presidential election, I have to say conclusively, without all that other gray stuff I just told you, I just wanted to tell you that first so you knew what I was saying, that Trump is going to be far better for gun rights over the next 4 years. Hey, this is the Yankee Marshal just reminding everyone out there that if you disagree with anything I say in any one of my videos, be it something political or tactical, I am going to give you the opportunity to come talk to me face to face instead of just having to put stuff in comment sections where someone might not even read them. You can come in one of my live chats and tell me off in person. You just have to send an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and in the subject line of that video put slap the yank, and then I will get back with you and set up a time where you can come in one of the live chats and tell me off face to face.